Hi everyone, welcome back to my tarot lessons. For those of you who have not watched any of my tarot lessons, please go back and check my channel in the file with all the tarot lessons. This is going to be pip cards 6 through 10, and you kind of need to know what's in the past before you do this lesson. So, if you are returning and you have stuck around and you have watched the other lessons, we are going to get right into it. I'm going to pause the video and move the camera down. Thank you everybody for being here and liking these videos. Okay, so just like in the last video with the pip cards, 1 through 5, the easiest way for me to learn, or the easiest way that I learned and memorized the cards, was to have a little story go along with it, right? And I explained how the first 5 cards are like the first half of the cycle, right? Well, after we get up to 5, when we get to conflict, then something propels us forward into the last half of the cycle. So this will be considered the last half of the cycle. We've got 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And just like with pip cards 1 through 5, there's a major arcana that sums up the whole. Okay, so with 6, we have the Lover's card. 6 is all about the number 6 in the tarot is all about some type of victory, some type of moving on, some type of next happiness, next level of happiness. Moving on to your next level of happiness, having your next level of happiness, being victorious over your enemies, stuff like that, okay? So that's represented by the Lovers. It's usually divinely led. It's how we got here, all right? Because we came out of something, because we came out of the 5s, which were all about conflict, now we're moving on to the 6s where we get the victory. So 6s are about victory, okay? Now if we move on, then we go on to 7. 7 is all about moving on. Moving forward, putting in the action, taking the steps, moving forward. It's also a very spiritual number. If you see, this chariot has angel wings. It's a very spiritual number. Okay, so 7s is, like I said, it's all about movement. It's all about soul. It's, like elevating your soul. A lot of spiritual. 7s is a spiritual number as it is. So it can be like your soul's progression. Whatever's going to progress your soul, it's like the next steps to progress your soul. All right, so then we go into 8. 8s are all about strength. This is about the strength that we need once we've figured it out, this is the strength that we need, that we're going to have to use to get through. It can also be about loyalty. It can be about remaining in confine and needing to break out of confines to use that strength to break free. And then we move into 9s, and it's like once we've used that strength, we kind of need to shut down. We kind of need to go into hermit mode. We kind of need to think about what our next steps are going to be. Sometimes we have to heal. Sometimes we have to heal. So we have to go inward and find our answers, find out what's best for us. And then this leads to 10. So that leads to the wheel. In the wheel, like I said, it's all about changing cycles. So 10s are the end of the cycle. Because if you think about it, aces are the beginning. So naturally 10s will be the end, right? So that's how that goes. So if you think about it as like 5, before this, 5s was conflict, right? So then you have some sort of victory here, or you're moving on towards victory. You've got some sort of victory here. Then there's like something that like as you're moving on, or you're victorious, you become kind of confused. your soul kind of becomes confused because you have all this happiness. So now it's like your soul is like, what do I do now? You know, where do I go? What do I do? So it's about the things that help us move forward. And then we move forward into this strength, needing this strength, because whatever we've moved forward into has caused some type of turmoil or whatever. We need the strength for that, right? Then we move on, and then we, you know, after we've gotten the strength to get us out of that conflict, then we move into this where we need to heal, we need to close down, we need to relax, we need to think about our next moves, and then we moved on into ending the cycle. Okay, so it's basically the same concept as I had with the 1 through 5s, you know, victory, moving on, finding the strength, having to go it alone for answers, and changing or ending your cycle. So victory, moving on, gathering your strength, healing, and ending your cycle. Okay? So that's how each number is. 6 is victory, 7 is moving on, 8 is all about like gathering your strength, 9 is about healing and going hermit, 10 is about ending your cycle or beginning a new cycle. Okay, so now I'm going to pause the video so then that way I can go through each one by one. Okay. So we're going to get into the 6s first. We're going to break down the 6s here on the Lovers, Gemini, the card of Gemini. It represents the 6 pip cards. This is all about finding victory, finding happiness, finding love. It can be about finding financial gain. It can be about, you know, having that recognition. It can be about moving on towards somebody or something else. All right. It's all about love for yourself and being happy with what you have, gaining some small victory in life. The 6 of Swords, it usually talks about moving away. It can talk about travel in some deck or in some spreads. It can talk about actually physically traveling. But mainly this is like, if we look at Swords and it's all about logic in the mind and it's about spiritualism and stuff like that, it's about moving on towards more calmer waters where your mind isn't so in chaos. It also can be, you know, moving on from old beliefs to new beliefs. It can, on occasion, depending on where it comes out in a love spread, it can indicate moving on from a lover. Okay, so 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands, this is all about gaining recognition for something. This is about your peers. This is about your coworkers, finally recognizing the efforts that you've put in. This is something like a prize for a job well done. This could be a promotion in some cases, like being recognized and obtaining a promotion, especially if the Ace of Pentacles or the Page of Pentacles follows this card. It can mean that you are moving up in a career or job and you're being promoted. But this is all about recognition, finally getting that recognition for what you truly want and what you truly need, depending on what the spread is about. Okay, so 6 of Cups. This usually indicates past life lovers. It can indicate children. It can indicate what it indicates is like emotional victory over some type of emotion that you've had, something that you've been emotionally attached to. This is the emotional victor card. If you look at it before, it's the 5 of Cups that comes before this, right? And the 5 of Cups is all about grief, about mourning, about holding on to things that we shouldn't hold on to emotionally. So when we get to the 6, we're in that energy where we can look back at the past and we can look back at what we lost and reminisce on it happily without it being so emotional for us. This is also can talk of past life lovers coming back into your life. This can talk about a soulmate. This is a soulmate card. With that kite there, it always reminds me, well, not every card has the kite, but this deck has the kite. So it kind of reminds me of like something that is like past life, something that's beyond, okay? But this is like you finally being okay with your emotions, being in that place where you can emotionally, be victorious, okay? Then we've got the Six of Pentacles. Now, depending on where this comes out in the spread, this is all about, you being able to equally give and take. Maybe you have enough finances now, because before there was the Five of Pentacles is the poverty card, the by yourself card. And this is the Six of Pentacles. So this is somebody who is finally financially stable, somebody who can give as much as they can take. This is somebody, though, depending on where it comes out in the spread, this could be somebody that's being taken advantage of. So it could mean that you have to have equal measure there, all right? But this is having victory over some type of financial pursuit, okay? And those are the sixes. Okay, so the sevens are next, and this is all about chariot-like energy, moving on, moving forward, spiritually moving on and moving forward. This is what gets you to move to that next phase of belief, to that I can't take it anymore, I finally gotta go type thing. This is all spiritually based. This is spiritually led. Okay, so whatever happens in the sevens, it's amping you up to move on, to move forward, okay? Now, Seven of Swords, this usually means deception of some kind, some type of trickery, some type of lies, some type of deceit, somebody stealing from you. This could be somebody stealing your business ideas or your project ideas. This could be somebody actually physically taking something from you, or putting words in your mouth that you never said. This is all about lies, deceit, manipulation, and trickery. Now, for some people, depending on where it comes out in the spread, it can also mean self-doubt. It can mean that you're lying to yourself, that you don't believe in yourself as much as you're trying to pretend like you do. This card involves lies and deceit. It really makes you want to take a microscope at what is going on here. Seven of Wands. This is all about finding the courage to stand up for yourself. This is about somebody who's finally standing up for themselves, somebody who finally knows what they want, and they're like, you know what? I don't want what you got to offer here. I've got my own thing, okay? I don't care if you guys, if this one thing is against everything that you guys want. I'm going to beat you with my sticks. I'm going to, I don't care what you have to say. I've got mine. I'm standing up for mine, okay? My own. This is somebody who has more self-confidence in themselves. When the Seven of Wands comes up in a reading, it's saying that you have enough confidence in yourself to stand up for yourself, okay? Seven of Cups. This is all about confusion. Okay, it's about many things that emotionally please you, but you can only pick a couple or take a couple, and you're confused on what ones to take. So seven is all about confusion. Some introspection or intro reflection needs to be taking place here. Before it is the Six of Cups, so that's like you are emotionally sound, you emotionally know what you want, and when you emotionally know what you want, then you get all these other opportunities coming in for you, right? This is the card of opportunity. It's when somebody has a ton of opportunities and them being confused, not knowing which one is going to emotionally satisfy them, not knowing, they might have 7 opportunities, but they can only pick 3 opportunities out of that 7 and not knowing which opportunities to pick. Okay? All right, so the 7 of Pentacles. So especially if this comes out and then this comes out, it's like saying, okay, you have all these opportunities. You might have to look closely at each one, okay? Because 7 of Pentacles is all about analyzing. It's about, if you think about it, when you planted your seeds of intention back at the Ace, everything that you've gone through, everything that has happened since you planted that pentacle, it's like you looking at it now, looking at what you got, what you have, what isn't growing, what is growing, what needs to be cut, what needs to stay. This is all about analyzing what's best for you, what's good for your environment, and what's good in your environment, okay? And, that can help if the Seven of Cups comes out with the Seven of Pentacles, all right? So if we look at this, it's all about your soul's growth. It's about your soul's need to move on, to move forward. What you have to do in order to move on and forward in your life to the next spiritual level. Okay? Okay, so eights are all about strength, courage, because you need courage. You need courage in life to move on and move forward. It's about getting you out of the troublesome 7 times and going on to a much more better 9 times, because 8 is right in between 7 and 9. So this is what you need in order to move on, to move forward, to get to that next step in life that you need to get to, that your soul requires you to get to. Okay, it's finding that inner strength to do that. We've got the 8 of Swords. So when this comes up in a reading, it's usually about somebody who has all these ideas of how things should go, that they're not seeing the right way on how things should go. It's somebody who feels trapped, who feels like there's no way out. They can't see a way out of the mess that they've created. They can't break free. It's somebody who has that blindfold over their head, over their face. They cannot think of a way to possibly get past this situation. But what's good about this card is, whereas like the 3, I think it was a 3. Was it the 3? No, it was the 4. No, the 2. Okay, so it's the 2 of Swords where the blindfold is on. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to do. They're not listening to their intuition. When you pull the 8 of Swords, it's saying that the client or the current or whatever is going to be listening to their intuition. And that's how they are going to find the way out of the situation. That they are very close to finding their way out of the situation if they would just listen to their intuition more. Okay? All right, so the 8 of Wands is all about finding courage. Finding the courage to speak up, or, it could be about some communication coming in for the current. This is usually a communication card. It's about that thing that you really want finally coming in or finally being communicated to you. It can be about the World Wide Web. It can be about internet, text messaging, phone calls, some type of message coming in. If it's in a love reading, it could be a message of love. If it's in a financial reading, it could be like a news of a job offer or something like that. Whatever the client is passionate about, this is communication coming in for them. Okay? Some type of communication that's going to require a lot of strength. Okay, or a lot of courage. A lot of strength or a lot of courage to follow through with. Okay, then we've got the 8 of Cups. Now, Cups is all about emotion. And before this, we had the 7 of Cups where you didn't know what cup to choose, right? Well, with the 8 of Cups, you know what cups to choose. It's like, forget all these other cups. I'm going off in search of the cup that I need the most. And she's following her intuition here, or he's following his intuition here, whoever the client is. They're following their intuition and they're leaving all their emotional baggage and emotional garbage behind and going off towards something that's going to better suit them. That's going to give them more emotional fulfillment. And this is all about the courage. This is how the courage is lent here. Okay? Then we've got the 8 of Pentacles. This is about knowing what you want and working hard for it. Like if you think about it, before this, it was the Seven of Pentacles, like analyzing everything that you need or that you have, what you need to cut, what you need to fix. The Seven is kind of like the editing zone. But the Eights are like the full steam ahead. Let's get this work done. Let's get this task done. This is where brute strength, your inner strength is going to, you need to call upon it to get the stuff done because you want to make that coin or you want to make changes, the right changes to your environment. So that's all about number 8. Number 8, it involves strength, courage, and what it takes to move on to the next part in the cycle. Okay, so after we've put a lot of strength, a lot of courage, and we've moved on, we need healing, we need rest, we need rejuvenation. We need that little bit so then that way we can make it to the next level, right? Or the next cycle. So that's why the Hermit rules 9. That's why the Hermit rules 9. It's going in, finding answers, knowing how to take that next step, taking that rest and rejuvenation that you need, so that your soul needs, so that you can move on and properly close out your cycle. Okay. 9 of Swords. 9 of Swords usually speaks of anxiety. This speaks of somebody who is up all night with all the whispers and talk in her head of things that have gone on during the day. Maybe it's actually somebody whispering or talking or trying to manipulate her at night. It could be a friend or a family member that's trying to manipulate this person, but it also can be an overworked person, somebody who is overworked and is constantly thinking about all the things that they need to do in order to progress in work. So, or forgetting things that they forgot during the day. This kind of goes along with Virgo. And I think Libra too, because Libra has that same quality as well. But, this is about being anxious, having that anxiety, always thinking that you need another, that you didn't do enough or that there wasn't enough, okay? That you didn't do enough or that there wasn't enough thought given or whatever. All right, so the 9 of Wands. This is all about putting in so much. You've put in all this work, all this passion for your passion, okay? You've done everything you can, and now you're waiting for your ships to come in. This kind of like relates back to 3, but where 3 was, and it was like you had to put in more effort, 9, it's like saying, okay, you've put in enough. Now it's actually time to lay back, wait, and see what happens next, okay? This is a card of like, you've put in everything you can possibly put into it. So now let's see where it goes from here. 9 of Cups. 9 of Cups is all about being emotionally fulfilled. This is about you having everything that you possibly need or that you could possibly want, okay? If you think about what comes after it, the 10 of Cups, this is being secure. This 9 means being secure and stable with what you have and emotionally happy with what you have in order for something extra abundant to come in for you when the 10 of Cups comes in. Do you see what I mean? It's all about reminding us that we are happy and we are secure where we're at. And that's the best way to create more abundance in our life. Okay, so it's all about being emotionally stable, emotionally abundant. You have everything that you need right now. You don't need any more is what you feel like. But universe says, no, we got more for you. But you feel like you don't need any more. Okay, 9 of Pentacles. This is all about being independent. If you think about what was before this, it was the 8 of Pentacles, where somebody was working hard, working really, really hard to get what they wanted and get what they needed, right? But this person, they're all, they worked really hard and to go for what they needed, and they've reached this person's status. They are emotionally, physically, they are just independent. They are rolling in the dough. They don't care. They got their own. They can hold their own. Okay. All they got is this little birdie up here. This little birdie that tells them what to do, tells them, helps guide them. But they are independent. Most of it means you're financially Financially independent. This is a financially independence card, or it could just mean independence as it is, but depends on where it comes out in the reading, okay? So these are the 9s. It's all about rest, healing, transformation, okay? It's about, when the 9 of Swords comes up, it's about you needing to take time out, you needing to calm down, you needing to meditate, you know? When the 9 of Wands comes out, it's saying, hey, stop working so hard. You've already put in enough. You don't need to do it anymore. Take a rest, relax. And wait for your stuff to come in. With 9, it's saying, you know, you've got everything you want, you've got everything you needed, but hey, there might be something else that is good for you that we've got. There might be something else around the corner, okay? And the same with the 9 of Pentacles. It's saying that, you know, you got everything you want financially and material-wise, but we've got something for you right around the corner, okay? So those are the 9s. And then we got 10. 10 is the ending and the beginnings of new cycles. So it's the ending of burdensome cycles and the beginning of new cycles. It could be the ending of a good cycle and the beginning of a burdensome cycle, or the ending of a burdensome cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, or a new, better cycle. But it all depends on how the wheel spins, okay? It all depends on how the wheel spins, and only the Sphinx knows the answer to that riddle, okay? Only the Sphinx knows the answer to that riddle. Okay, so the 10 of Swords, something mentally, like mental abuse or mental trauma, something got to you mentally, it broke you down. Just broke you down, okay? It broke you down. And this is saying it's the end of that painful cycle. You can now start picking those swords that people threw at you, those words, those lies, those manipulations. You can start picking them out right now, because they're no good for you and you're done with this cycle, okay? That's what the 10 of Swords means. 10 of Wands, okay? This is somebody who has been taking on the passions and the burdens of everybody else and doing everything for everybody else that it's become quite burdensome for them. They are carrying a load of a majority of the load here. And it's saying, go ahead, drop that load. It's time. This cycle has ended for you. You don't need this anymore. You deserve to be happy. So it's the ending of a burdensome cycle. So this is like the ending of a mental cycle, like the mental anguish, the mental stress. This is like the ending of a burdensome cycle, like something that's constantly burdening you. All right, now 10 of Cups. This comes in right after the 9 of Cups, right when you think you've had it all and you can't get any more blessed, then boom. Universe says, nope, we got one more cup for you because you are doing so good. Okay, so this is big emotional fulfillment. For some of you, or for some people, for some clients, or depending on where it comes out in the reading, it can mean marriage and a family. It can mean that you're about to get married. It can signify pregnancy as well. But that is just the beginning of a new cycle. The ending of an emotional cycle and the beginning of a new cycle, okay? The beginning of happiness there. Then we've got the 10 of Pentacles. So, you know, I think this speaks for itself. It's about being financially happy. It can mean marriage as well. This is also another marriage card. It's about having what you have, you know, everything that you want, everything that you possibly want, okay? Now, depending on where they come out in the spread and whether they're reversed, which we're not going to get into reversals right now with my lessons. We're going to do that in the next course. But for the intro course, this is just all about card meanings, okay? So, and combos and spreads. But depending on how these come out, they can mean the opposite, all right? So, those are the 10s. So now if we look at it in story form, you know, we have the small victory, we have the moving on, we have the strength, we have the need to rest and heal, and then we have the changing of the cycle. Now if we look at it because that's the story right there, right? That's the story. Victory, you know, moving on, finding the strength, healing, and ending and closing out a cycle, right? So now if we go through the suits, we can make a story out of it. So like somebody, Five of Swords was somebody who was a know-it-all, right? Five of Swords was somebody that was a know-it-all, right? Coming off from last lesson. Well, when they're in the 6 mentality, they've already sought that Hierophant. They've already like learned their lessons, and now they're moving on towards a much more brighter and stable mind. You know, they know that they don't know everything, and they're going out to seek knowledge. They're moving on because they realize that whatever they left behind wasn't good enough for them. They're moving on. They're seeking. Okay, then we get to 7, and this is like where some of the backstabbery comes in, where somebody lied to somebody or somebody cheated on somebody. It's like, because you're moving away, right? But you're moving away out of, you know, your know-it-all attitude, but then you're moving into this place where other people are lying to you, other people are confusing you, you don't really know which way to go, blah, 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 this person lied to you. So then you end up in the 8, which is a state of confusion. This is all a mental journey, right? A mental cycle. So you end up in the 8 of Swords mentality, where you can't see a way out, everybody's lying to you, you don't know which way to go, you don't know which is right, which is wrong. Then you end up into the 9 of Swords energy, where you're up and you're panicking, you're like, oh my God, I can't see anything, I can't see straight, I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing, I need to do this, and that, and you're panicking, right? And then you move into the 10 of Swords energy, where it's like, bam, it's like the end of your anxiety, the end of the mental stress, the end of the mental anguish. Boom, you're done. Okay, you finally had it. Boom, you're done. Okay, mental breakdown. Boom, you're tired of listening to everybody. You're tired, you want all these swords out. Okay, all right, so now if we look at it from a Wands perspective, all right, this is how I read. I mean, anybody, take it how you want to take it. You can make up your own stories or whatever, or how you connect the cards. But this is what I do, because I know the card meanings. But anyways, okay. So we've got this state of victory right here, where it's like you were coming out of a 5 of Wands, where you were being competitive with somebody, or somebody was in a competition with you. So you came out the victor, all right? And now everybody's taking notice. But what happens when people take notice? You get haters, right? So everybody's hating on you, and it's like you got to stand up for yourself, right? But then some forms of communication comes rushing in at you, and you're like, oh, well, I can do things this, and that way, and then I won't have to stand up for myself anymore. I can move on into nines energy here, where I can put more in, and then finally relax. But what happens is you keep putting more in, you keep putting more efforts in, and you don't listen to that 9 of Wands, and you keep putting that more effort in, you're going to hit the 10 of Wands energy right here, where you're feeling burdensome and you need to drop that burden. And then what happens? Boom, you drop the burden. Okay? Cups. So before the 6 of Cups, we had the 5 of Cups, which is grief. So then you get into you finally move past the 5 of Cups energy, and you get into the 6 of Cups energy, which is finally being happy, being okay, being reminiscent, being nostalgic, maybe some past energies, you're nostalgic of it, but it's not really hurting you or bothering you anymore. But then options come in. With the 7 of Cups here, more options, more emotional stability, because you have finally made peace in 6. So now you're moving on to 7, where you have all these different options emotionally, okay? And you're confused. You don't know which way to go. So then you tune into your intuition, and you end up leaving the cups behind that you don't need, and you end up following your intuition towards what you feel is emotionally right for you and spiritually right for you, right? And that takes a lot of strength. So then you move on into this Nine of Cups energy where you've gotten all your blessings. You've gotten all your emotional fulfillment. You've gotten your wish. Okay. So you have every cup that you could think of possibly full. All right. And you're just taking it in and you're just taking it in. And then bam, the universe hits you with more happiness. One last cup because you've been so good and you have been such a trooper and you've went through this process. Okay. All right. So then you move on, let's move on to the Pentacles here. With the Six of Pentacles, before that we had the Poverty card and the Going It Alone card, right? Well, when you're in the Six of Pentacles, you're coming out of that 5 energy. You're finally gaining your coin. You're finally making yourself set. You finally have some extra income or some extra materials or some extra people in your environment that you can share with, that you can have conversations with. So you're in a good place right here. But then what happens is that you get in too much of a good place that you need to start evaluating. You need to start, because you can't see the negative people that are taking from you. So you need to get into this place of evaluation. You need to see who's good for you, who isn't, and start cutting. Start trimming your garden. Start cutting your cords, okay? And then you move on into this Eight of Pentacles energy, because once you've cut your cords and you've cut some things out, then you have to work hard. You have to work even harder to obtain that coin, even harder to maintain those friendships, even because you have to in order to become successful. And that's what you feel like, okay? And then you move on into the Nine of Pentacles energy, because you've worked so hard. You've moved on into the Nine of Pentacles energy where you are independent, where you're free, where you don't have to rely on others to help you. You can help yourself, okay? And because you're in that energy where you can help yourself, the universe says bam and gives you one more thing to change your cycle, to put you on a good path. You know, and like I said, the Ten of Pentacles could also mean marriage. This could also be a journey of marriage. So put it however you want it to go. But I find that connecting the dots and making stories for each suit like that to help me remember the meanings of the cards is the easiest way for me to memorize it. And I thought that, you know, you could try that as well. If you like this video, if you like this technique, please let me know. Drop a comment below. If you have any questions, I can answer them for you in another video. I like to try to do Tarot Talk Thursdays. Today is Thursday as I'm putting it out because I had some filming problems. So if you want me to mention something next Thursday, if you have a question, I can mention it in a video. I will leave your name anonymous. You can find all the information on how to get a hold of me in the information box below. Thank you so much. I hope you all take care, and our next lesson will be on combos. Bye.